It took almost $11 million to make and only made about $9.5 million at the box office, even though it stars several phenomenal stars, all of whom turned in solid performances. Hi, I produced and directed my first play when I was 9 years old. About a half dozen years after that, I convinced my junior high English teacher to allow me and a handful of my friends to shoot a series of short stories on Super 8 for our writing assignments. I knew at that moment that I was a filmmaker. About a half dozen years after that, with every penny that I had in my pocket and everything I owned packed in the back, I pointed the nose of my old Buick towards Hollywood. I worked behind the scenes and in front of the camera in over 500 projects. I act, direct, produce, and write. I am a bit of an anomaly in Hollywood. I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative, I love my country, and I unapologetically support the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I know for a fact that much of what comes out of Hollywood is meant to belittle, subvert, and undermine the things that I hold sacred and dear. It is my aim to expose the propaganda and indoctrination. My name is Dan Harville, but my friends call me Spike. Johnny Depp is one of my favorite actors. He has a reputation of taking some really quirky and oddball characters, and he has the skill and the ability to make them special and lovable. I mean, who doesn't love Captain Jack Sparrow, or the Mad Hatter, or Rango? Those are a few of my favorites. But I now have another one that I really like tremendously, and that's Gilbert Grape. Released in 1993 to critical acclaim, but lackluster audience response, the movie lost money in its initial run. But Depp turns in a solid performance as a young man trying to hold his dysfunctional family together.
Endora. It's a town where nothing much ever happens. This is where I live with my family. Doctor said we'd be lucky if Arnie lived to be 10.
I could go at any time.
Arnie, don't be rude. Some days you want him to live.
I killed him, Gilbert.
I know, buddy.
Okay, son, come down now.
Bye.
Some days you don't.
When is this gonna stop?
His father commits suicide, and his mother hasn't left the house in 8 years and weighs somewhere around a quarter of a ton. He has two teenage sisters, one who is self-absorbed, and the other who is long-suffering and is sacrificing. But the main dynamic in this movie, the fabulous thing in this movie, is his brother Arnie, played by Leanardo DiCaprio, in what should have been an Oscar-winning performance. He was nominated, and he didn't win, sadly. Gilbert has a minimal job as a grocery boy in a store whose existence is threatened by the new gigantic food store out on the loop, out by the interstate. Gilbert is trying to hold his family together and keep food on the table, sacrificing for everyone. He sacrifices for everybody else in his family, and he sacrifices for Betty, a local housewife played by Mary Steenbergen, who's bored with her husband, bored with her life, and keeps calling the little grocery store for special deliveries as long as that special delivery is delivered by Johnny Depp, if you get my drift. One day a passing caravan of RVs comes through town, and the last RV has engine trouble. Teenager Becky and her grandmother become stranded in town. Becky, played by Juliette, and Gilbert become interested in each other. The greater part of this movie happens during this time while they're waiting for the truck parts to arrive so that Becky and Grandma can get back on the road. There's great contrast in the fact that Depp and his family are stuck in one place in more ways than one, and Becky, living in a small camper pulled behind a truck, is always moving. Depp, DiCaprio, and Steenbergen turn in some of the best performances of their careers in this little drama. It's laced with humor and tons of heart. I'm sending kudos out to Miss Steenbergen. In one of my favorite scenes of the movie, she and her boys come into the store where Gilbert is working. While she's talking to him, Becky enters. And they are standing literally and figuratively in a love triangle. Mary Steenbergen makes that scene real. She really sells the sizzle. So how does it rate? I polled 10 of my filmmaker friends and actor friends. Just let me say, if you've got 10 friends in your life who are actors, you need to get out more. Anyway, my actor friends and filmmaker friends gave it 4.5 stars. I then polled 10 members of my family and normal friends, and they gave it 4 stars. Yeah, the filmmaking, the acting, the story, all that factors in, and I mean, that's all important to me as a filmmaker and an actor. But I also measure the film against some of the other factors that many people overlook. I measure what the film is saying to my love of country, my love of my God, and my family. And I measure the propaganda and the indoctrination and the elements of the film. Now I'm happy to report that I loved this movie. I absolutely loved it. It seemed like a slice of real life in America, and it had no agenda. It was also a study on how Gilbert Grape loved his family, and they loved him back, and how they overcame and dealt with their lot in life. I give the film 4 stars. Please visit my website, myfriendscallmespike.com, and you can follow me on Twitter @SpikeHarville. Thanks for watching.